What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the Threezero Transformers MDLX Optimus, Bumblebee, and Megatron in the Vintage Animation Edition colors. So I picked these guys up from TFCon LA recently. They were early released there. They're going to be mass released everywhere else, but it was nice that we were able to get a copy of these early on. Thanks to Toy Dojo and A3U, who kind of hosted, they had Threezero kind of next to their booth, and they were actually helping them out. So thanks to Eddie from Toy Dojo and the other guys at A3U for, setting that up. But these guys look really good. This is not going to be a full review because we've already looked at these guys before. Mainly I'm going to do a comparison with the original figures, point out the differences, point out the paint, and go from there. So let's get started. I'm going to start off with Optimus since that's the first figure we got. I'll go in order like this, and we'll take a look at their original figures and compare them. All right, so there you have the two versions of Optimus, the vintage animation and the original. And you can see right away the color differences. This one has a lot more silver, and it's due to the black wash, it kind of has that weathered look. This one, obviously more of a animation look, kind of cleaner. It does have a little bit of a black wash on it, but not as heavy as this one. Also, they've removed the silver from the middle of the arms. It's just all red. And that is more, animation accurate. Got rid of the silver here on the front of the legs. They changed the color of the gas cans here. Here's the back. You can see they replaced all the silver with the white, and then there's a kind of a gray. And all that looks really good. I really like the contrast on the new one. It just, something about it, it just stands out. Smokestacks are now done in this white with a black wash instead of the silver. On the top, you can see they did pretty much all red. They got rid of all the silver detail. I actually prefer the look of this, even though this has got more paint and the detail shows up better on the original. I just prefer the look on this one. So quite a few differences there in terms of paint. Also, they got rid of the yellow on the arms, the little yellow arrow. I guess that's, not necessarily animation accurate, more like toy accurate. So yeah, there you go for the main differences. The head sculpt is the same, but due to the way they applied the paint, they look kind of different. I guess they did an outline on the eyes here, whereas this one, it doesn't. I mean, I just really prefer the look on this one. But they are the same mold, so at least that is identical. Let's take a look at some of the accessories really quickly. Like I said, this is not going to be a full review. Here's the backpack, done in gray and red instead of this silver and wash. Here is the blaster, black, all black instead of the silver. Here's your axe. This one is actually painted instead of translucent with that gradient paint. That looks really good. And then gray for the handle. This one's done silver. Here's the matrices. This one is gray. This one's more silver. And speaking of that, let's take a look at the matrix chamber. This is attached by magnet. You can see they did the windows with this cell shaded look, whereas the original is this translucent gray. And then inside here, they've painted the matrix cavity differently. You can see the original is silver pretty much and a gunmetal, whereas the new one is white. And it does have a black wash on it. But that does look different there. And I do, again, I prefer the look here. And then the last thing is the hands. I'm just going to show you one for comparison, but here's the gun gripping hand. Let me make sure I have the exact same ones. Okay. And you can see the original is done with this silver wash on it. Hard to catch on camera, but there's a little silver. This one's just done in the blue paint with a little bit of black wash. So it doesn't have that silvered weathered look. Again, I prefer the new one. All right, next we'll take a look at Megatron, and he's probably one of the most stark differences compared to the new one here. And it really, I mean, the color change, but not only that, but there's actually a mold change. You can see the chest plate here. They've gone with this kind of flat piece, whereas this one has extensions. And then they did, which is actually not animation accurate, that's toy accurate. It's got the little squiggles on there. And again, I really, really much prefer the new look. This is really, it's got a nice look to it, but just my preference is the contrast of the colors on the new one. Other than that, let's go over the face. They've done in white instead of the silver, and I like that because it contrasts with the helmet. This one, the helmet and the face were the same color, and it just didn't look as good. The chest, they do have the painted, details there, but this one kind of shows up a little better just because the chest plate is a little bit shorter, and they've painted a little bit more brilliantly there. You just have the same issue with the hip skirts popping off. If you lift this up, it will pop off very easily. They didn't change that or remold it in any way. So that is a bummer, but that is basically the same as this one that had that issue. The red, they've changed to a glossy red instead of this metallic maroon. And then the legs, probably one of the biggest differences is the way they've done this. Metallic, glossy red instead of metallic red, and then they got rid of the little gold detail there, which, although that looks nice, it's, break up in the middle. So if you don't want, this is more animation look for you. Here's the side. And you can see the gun. They've changed a fusion cannon. So all black with red, and this one had, little silver gunmetal, lots more details on the original. And then here's the back. And same thing, all of the silver shiny bits have been changed. This still has a wash on it, but because of the silver, the wash on here really shows up. It gives it that weathered look. Again, I prefer the more subtle weathered look that you have on this one. Like, he does look a little weathered. You can see some of that. But this one really is pronounced just because of the way it interacts with the paint. So there you go for that. For the accessories, I already have them on there mounted. You can see the back cannon. Instead of having that black piece, it's all gray with black on the bottom. You can still do the gimmick with the gun and make that alternate fusion cannon. I'm not going to do it here. As far as the hands, you could see, and I mixed them up here, but the original has a little bit of that silver wash, whereas the new one is just this glossy black. All right, next we'll take a look at Bumblebee. And this one also, quite a few differences in the look. You can see it's got a glossy yellow instead of this kind of weathered yellow. They got rid of all the silver, replaced it with black on here, so it kind of mixes in with the gray. They got rid of the yellow on the shoulders, made that gray. Same for the legs, they got rid of all the yellow, made that gray with black. This is probably one of the biggest differences, is the entire leg is different. Right? You got the black and gray instead of the weathered yellow and silver. On the back, they've changed the tire, so instead of this silver wash with yellow, it's all gray with a little bit silver in the middle. They did paint the windows in that cell shaded animation style. You got the cell shade right there. This one's just done in all black. So, and then the hands, you could see these are done in black with gray fingers. This is done in yellow with silver fingers. For the feet, you can see they changed the silver to this gray. I like this look. And then black for the bottom. They did paint in this red. Now, it was on the original, but because it was just so weathered, it was hard to see. So these details just show up better, but they are the same details. So that's really it for the figure. The head sculpts are the same, but because of the contrast, once again, it looks a lot better and it just shows up better. It's easier to see the details on the new one. For the accessories, the gun is now done in this gray instead of the silver. Same black wash. For the head, the alternate mask, battle mask head, again, silver changed to gray, and the yellow is more glossy, bright. And then, like I mentioned, the hands are done with black with gray fingers instead of the yellow and silver. So, final recommendations on the Threezero Transformers MDLX, Optimus, Bumblebee, and Megatron in the vintage animation colors. I really like these guys. I'm going to give this a 5 out of 5. They really did themselves a favor by redoing this deco. I just think they stand out much better. The contrast on the colors is better overall. There was a lot of issues with the silvers on the Megatron, although they were very attractive and caught your eye. The face and the helmet and some of the other parts, they kind of like melded together. This one, the contrast is so high that it just stands out and looks great. I do also prefer the look of the Bumblebee, even though that weathered look is kind of cool. Now, if you're prefer to have a look for these guys that's unique and different from the animation look, then I think the originals will be for you. But if you want that styling of Threezero, but the look of the animation, then these guys, they nail it for me. The only thing I would say that is, still a bummer is the hip skirts on the Megatron still pop off very easily. I didn't have any issues with the Optimus. Those didn't have any problems. You can remove them like I did in my review. If you watched the original, you can just take off these side skirts. Same for Bumblebee. You can remove these side skirts if you don't want them. But I don't have issues with them. It's really Megatron's hip skirt that likes to pop off. But that's really it. I don't have any issues with you guys. So I definitely recommend it. Now, they will be doing a retail release soon, so you can pick them up from your normal retailers. But that's it for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.